And you're with us today, partly because it's just a while since we caught up, really. Last time we caught up here with Han FX, but also because, well, two things. You have an important birthday coming up, don't you?
Indeed, yes. It's the big 6-0 next Wednesday.
Wow, amazing. And how are you celebrating?
Well, we'd have a quiet night out with my wife on the Wednesday. We've got the jazz club on the Thursday with the great Alan Barnes is coming over and guesting, and then we've got a terribly quiet, sober affair on Friday evening for a few friends.
Terribly quiet, sober affair.
Took the words out of my mouth, yes.
Yes, I'm going to put all of that in those little air speech marks because I think there might be slightly more in between those words that you're not saying.
Possibly.
We just heard Bob Marley, Three Little Birds there, and that was one of your choices of music because I said, choose some tunes, and you've chosen some brilliantly eclectic ones, as I might have expected. Why did you choose that one?
Well, two reasons. One was a health issue. One was back in 1985, I was in a reggae band with Paul Hannay and the Salmon Brothers, and they nearly gave up with me. It took me about a month to get the reggae beat. It's sort of off the beat, and it took forever to get it. We did a summer season at what was the old Milnes Waverley downstairs. It's now the Regency Hotel. And it was very popular because nobody had a reggae band before. So we filled it every Friday, and we had a lot of fun. Happy days. And then, unfortunately, I was quite ill a while ago. I ended up 3 months in Southport Spinal Injury Clinic learning how to walk again. And we used to escape on a Friday evening in our wheelchairs and all go down to the local pub, the Richmond. And this was the feel-good song we all used to sing to each other when we're feeling a bit down. Everything's going to be all right, and it gave us all a lift. It was quite...
Music is healing.
Music is very, very healing, yes.
I'm never going to forget that image, though. That idea of you all in your wheelchairs escaping down to the pub is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're back to full strength now. And you mentioned it was one of the first sort of regular reggae nights that was had. You have been part of this scene on the island for, I think you said it's about 35 years or something.
Yes, I'm afraid so, yeah.
And there's been quite a few firsts that you've been involved with, hasn't there?
I think we were the first blues band. We had a band with Dave Wade, Tony Williams, and Anglin and Simon. And we used to play at the Grove. In fact, everywhere I'm naming tonight that I've played at has been closed since I've played.
Oh, no.
Oh, we played.
Is it your fault?
No comment. We played at the Grosvenor Hotel in Athol Street, and Thursday night became blues night. And that was the forerunner. Dave Wade carried the baton and kept the blues movement going, but that was the first of all the blues clubs on the Isle of Man. Again, it was a lot of fun, and very much a steep learning curve playing with Anglin and playing with Tony Williams, the guitarist, and Peter Pell-Hiley, who you know. Those guys, and Simon, of course, was a very solid bass player. So it was nice. There was no saxophonist in those days, or very few. So you got gigs with people who were a lot better than you because there weren't many saxophonists to choose from. So consequently, you got to sit in with a lot of very good guys. It was very good educationally. So it was Thursday night. The deal was we had free drink, but they didn't pay us anything, and I think we sort of bankrupted the pub after about 6 months, really.
Oh dear, don't offer free drink to blues musicians
No,
and
it's
expect
not
to get away with it.
It's like the Blues Brothers, isn't it? At Bob's Country Bunker, yeah.
Oh,
so,
brilliant. And was that where then, because it was Dave Wade that sort of was instigated the Big Wheel Blues Festival, wasn't it? So did that sort of come from that in the end as well?
We had a mythical godfather of Manx blues who was Laxey John Quaggan, who was a character Dave Wade and I invented, and the Laxey Delta Blues Breakers. And so
Dare I ask why?
We just thought it was fun, and we kept having references to the legendary Laxey John Quaggan that we'd made up. So it was when he started the Blues Festival, it's a Big Wheel Laxey Blues Festival. It was, I think it was in deference to the great mythical Laxey John Quaggan and the Laxey Delta Blues Breakers.
Oh, that is wonderful. I love that story. We're going to have plenty more stories over the course of the next hour or so.
I suspect so, yeah.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to it. And you said you were going to tone them down, but I don't think you should. As long as there's nothing offensive to little ears on a Sunday afternoon. But you've chosen as well some Beatles, a cracking choice as well. Tell us a little bit about why you've chosen this.
Anyone of my vintage, there was music before the Beatles and there was music after the Beatles, and they weren't just a musical phenomenon, they were a cultural phenomenon. They were They were the biggest thing in the world in the 60s, bigger than the Pope or Elvis or Muhammad Ali or anyone. And they just affected everyone's lives. Everyone at school wanted to be one of the Beatles. You could go to, I think it was Watterson and Lane's, and buy a little Beatles wig, plastic Beatles wig, and pretend you're one of the Fab Four.
Did you have one?
I'm afraid I did, yes. My brother had a life-size poster of Ringo Starr, which was like a shrine in the house. And everybody was into the Beatles, and they were just a phenomenon. And I don't. There's never been anything like Beatlemania, and there never will be. It was a very interesting time. And of course, recently I've been. I don't think it's the original Cavern site, but if I'm in Liverpool, it's free in the afternoon. You go to the Cavern, and they'll have sort of Beatles tributes acts, and my goodness, they're of a good quality over there. And
you'd have to be, wouldn't you?
To get a gig there, you got to be pretty good, I would imagine. But Beatlemania, we went to the Pigs just to see A Hard Day's Night and Help, and it just had a big effect when you're a kid. So, but their music has stood the test of time somewhat, I would say.
It absolutely has. Well, let's hear some right now. As chosen by my studio guest, Jerry Carter, this is Get Back.